Hello, Scorpio. My name is NiJiLL. You have found Alchemy. This is your summer 2025 reading. We're going to be doing a brief overview. So instead of 3 months, we're doing two. So this should be a fairly short reading. And in the fall, we're going to resume our 3 month overview. But as the months go by, so this will be July, this will be August. In July, we'll re-pull these cards and build a very strong, detailed reading around them. So just take this as a sort of preface. Okay. All right, so let's just get started right away. You have the new moon in Taurus. It says prosperity lies ahead. So the new moon in Taurus did occur, I believe, in April. The end of April, maybe. So that might be relevant to you, but it doesn't have to be. I think the important thing is that this is a reading about prosperity, and prosperity can mean many things, right? It could mean what is abundance to you? What is prosperity to you? Is it being in a long-term relationship with someone you love? Is it, reaching your goals? Is it both? Is it everything? So let's keep those questions in mind. It might be different for all of you. You do have Mercury here, and this is number 15 in this deck. And so Mercury, right? Um, hmm. You know, it pays to note that some of these cards that I'm looking at are a repeat in some ways from the Gemini reading. It's not exactly the same reading, but you might have strong Gemini placements. You might be dealing with a Gemini, or Gemini season might be very, very important to you. As we're in it right now, or we're going to be on the. Well, actually, we are. Excuse me. It's ending at the end of June. So keep that under your hat, however that fits with you. And also, we have Mercury in Mercury goes into retrograde on July 17th into about August 11th, and it'll be Mercury retrograde in Leo. Scorpio, you in particular may need to adjust your usual approach to communication, to relationships, things that you've always done. You may find yourself reevaluating your current path, reevaluating, your successes and what you could do to change your trajectory or change the speed at which things are happening for you. Yeah, there is an actual, it just pays to note there is an actual Scorpio Mercury retrograde in November. So that's coming up, and that might be relevant for you in some way. You do have 1212. It says, I am focused. It says, stay focused on your best possible future and remain optimistic through the entire journey. Your angels are right behind you, and as you turn your dreams into a reality, I am focused. 1212 might mean something to you this summer, so you might see that as an omen, as a clue that, the synchronicity here is on your side. But overall, I do see it as prosperity lies ahead. Stay focused. Stay focused, okay? You do have the fire element here on the table, and that sort of goes with this, right? The focus, the drive to do better. It says the element of fire heralds a new life and positive transformation. And this is number 17 in this deck. When we break that down, we get the number 8, which is August, which is Leo, right? So Leo season might mean something to many of you. You do have the Hermit here. Let me see. You have the Hermit here, and it says, how do you run from what is inside your head? Interesting. There may be something you try to avoid thinking about. There may be something you try to avoid in general. It says contemplation, search for truth, inner guidance. And so we look at, let me see if I could refocus this. That should refocus soon. I'm really sorry. It usually refocuses right away. Oh, there you go. I don't know. That deck is the only deck that seems to refocus this. But anyway, you have this is Mercury energy as well, right? It represents the sign of Virgo. Virgo is Mercury, just like Gemini is Mercury. So Mercury might be very, very meaningful to this reading as we go along. We'll see. Yeah. So we have Leo season here on the table. We have Gemini season here on the table, and we have Mercury pretty strong in this reading so far. Now, As we move on to your 2 months, it pays. I'm just going to preface this by saying the larger cards I always take in the upright, but I take note of when they come in the reverse, and I'll explain that to you if it applies to you in the meantime. As we go along, you do have here the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles in this deck anyway has no astrological correspondence other than Earth, that Taurian energy perhaps anyway. And this is the card of hard work and reward. Your dedication and perseverance has or will be producing some visible, viable results. This could be in the realm of love. It could be in the realm of career goals, right? And it's interesting because this would be actually all the cards on here are Rider-Waite except for these. And so on the Rider-Waite deck, this person is appreciating the fruits of their labor. They're standing there with their head on their instrument. Sometimes it's a hoe, sometimes it's a shovel, and they're appreciating, wow, I did this. Here is the fruit of my labor. But as you can see clearly, this person is still working, right? Now, this could be interpreted many different ways here, Scorpio. He continues to work because it's not quite ready yet, right? Yes, he can see the results starting to come up, but he continues to strive forward, continues to work. Yeah, there's enough visible result to motivate him to keep going, right? This could also indicate next year's crop. Maybe he already, and we're talking about July here. Maybe he already was rewarded with something and he's like, okay, on to the next thing. I'm going to start working. So it could be either way for both of you. Either way, depending on which scorpion I'm talking about, either way, there is more work indicated here, either by choice or because you're starting to see results and you really want these, the fruit to come through. You do have the Four of Pentacles here. Oh, and it does pay to note, excuse me, that this card originally came in reverse. So what does that mean? It means that you might be tempted in July to give up. I'm not saying you will, and I'm not even saying you're coming close, but it might be a thought in your head saying, you know what? Nothing's happening. I'm tired of trying. This is bullshit. And then you start seeing sprouts. You start seeing symbolic proof that, hey, I am seeing movement. So I'm going to keep going. So that it just pays to note that. You see how the reverse cards are meaningful even when you don't take them in reverse. You also have the Four of Pentacles here, and this also came in reverse. This is Saturn and Capricorn energy. And this is, the release of something, right? Yes, excuse me. So remember when I said you're going to have thoughts this month of giving up, releasing something, just saying, enough. I'm holding on to this long enough. I'm done. This is not producing any rewards. Then you start seeing the rewards, and then you start holding on really tight to this thing again. And this is Pentacles, right, in both cards. So for many of you, this is work related. It is goal related, right? Perhaps a goal that you dreamed about and worked on and hoped for, and you're like, you know what? I am done. I need something that's going to produce results. And then you start to see that little thing, that little movement that's, hey, hang in there. This could be a relationship that you were ready to just give up on. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind here, because the very next card is the Sun in perfect upright position. Perfect upright, right? This action of you reassessing something and saying, okay, on second thought, I think I'm going to hang in there, produces the Sun. Leo energy. What did we say? We said something might occur during Leo season, and Leo season is in July. Okay. But you have joy, optimism, success, abundance, clear vision. Finally, you have this clear vision. And you do have the the Eight of Swords, right? And, the Eight of Swords is Mercury and Gemini energy for sure. But, you have this energy where it's sort of a call to ask yourself, are you truly stuck? Are you truly stuck in a situation or a way of thinking? Or perhaps are you ignoring the source of the stuckness, or the fact that you are not using the tools around you or at your disposal. Because as you can see, this person can clearly unstick themselves. There's a castle in the background. There's things that this person can be enjoying. And all she has to do is really take the blindfold off. But the swords can cut the ties that bind her. This could be a way of thinking here, Scorpio, because clearly most of the Scorpions watching this that relate to this reading anyway, have this newfound way of thinking here in July, because many of you, and this could, being that these cards came in reverse and then the upright, you could experience a resistance, right? You could be guarded, you could be resistant, at least initially. But look at these cards. And I'm really glad I do these cards, the shuffling and the laying out on camera. If you ever want to slow it down, you click that gear shift icon and you can slow it down as slow as you want. So you can see they truly come out by themselves. Because here you have, look, the 10 of Cups, one of the happiest cards in the deck, along with the Sun. You have both of them here in July. So you have the 10 of Cups. It is completion. It is completion of some kind. It is Neptune and Pisces energy, joy, completion, contentment, realization of a dream, realization of something that is really within your grasp. Some of you might even be attaining it, but I'm telling you, whoever relates to this reading is going to see movement here in July. That's going to give them this burst of happiness. And you have the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles, I mean, it's a great card too. Jupiter and Pisces energy, prosperity, success, dedication, goals achieved, right? The fact that you, and it does pay, well, I'm just going to continue this and then I'm going to explain something to you. The last card is the Star. I mean, you couldn't get better cards. You honestly couldn't get better cards. So you have the Star here, Aquarius energy, healing, blessings, that inner compass finally clicking, trust, faith. You have hope, renewed hope. Renewed hope where you might have been on the verge of just saying, the hell with it, I'm done with something. Now, being that you have the 10 of Cups and you also have the 9 of Pentacles, this goes with either a personal goal that you have that is money related, or a relationship goal. Either way, happiness here is in the forecast for you if you hang in. If you start feeling this negativity, this resistance, feel it, take note of it, and then release it. And the rest of this will come into play naturally. And like I started to say, once again, Gemini received almost these identical cards. So I would either take a look at that reading, or this might be a clue that this is your reading if you have Gemini placements, or if you're dealing with a Gemini, or something that could have happened during Gemini season. Okay, so all of those things. Gemini is seriously important. Mercury is seriously important for some reason in this reading here, Scorpio. Now let's look at August. You have interesting card here. You have the Death card, but now this deck has God, how do I explain this? This deck has alternate cards. I believe that there's 4 Death cards in this deck, right? It's a massive deck. You watched me shuffle it. It was just a massive, right? So this is the Death card, and if you look really closely, this honestly is a depiction of Santa Muerte. She is a Mexican folk goddess, a deity that people pray to, right? It's sort of like, and she is clearly wearing a red robe in this picture. She is the personification of death, right? She translates, Santa Muerte translates into holy death. Oh, interesting. The red robe is indicative of matters of the heart, passion, right? Vitality, love, prosperity. Could be any of those things. What's interesting on this card is that you have 2 swords plunged into the ground, right? And these could be 2 swords that you were holding in front of you, like the 2 of Swords, that you release and plunge into the ground to get more grounded. You also have a mask and a crown that is falling to the ground there, right? There is something that is being revealed to you, something that will be revealed to you clearly in August. I really like this for a Scorpio reading because obviously the Death card is your card here. But more than that, this is the messenger. This is the person who assists you in going from one dimension into another. When I say the person, I mean the archetype, if you will. And if you want to read more about Santa Muerte, I'll be happy to provide you a link if you mention it in the comments. So here you have, to go along with this reading, you do have the Knight of Swords. Oh, I keep forgetting. This card came in reverse as well. Okay, so here in, as we know, the Death card is the card of Scorpio. And you may be feeling not like yourself. You may need help. You may need that assistance, because the Death card is, in general, a transition, right? From one part to another. Death and rebirth, death of an old way of thinking, an old way of doing things, to a new place. I mean, there's sunflowers in this picture. Yes, it's nighttime, but it's just a different kind of Death card in general. And so once again, if you have Gemini placements, if you may waffle between two different ways of thinking. It's very common with Geminis, right? You may go from one extreme to the other, as we can see up here, but we'll get to that in a minute. But you do end up in a really good place, and I like that for you. And you do have here the Knight of Swords coming in pretty strongly, and this is Mercury in Gemini energy. Mercury in Gemini energy. Someone stepping into a very assertive role, right? This person has the drive, the desire for action, right? Could also mean action stemming from impatience, tired of waiting around, tired of doing nothing, tired of no progress, because you're starting to see results and you're just like, could be. But you have here the Two of Pentacles. This card originally came in reverse. You have the Two of Pentacles. So, yeah, let's Come on, refocus for me, please. There we go. So you have the Two of Pentacles, and like I said, this is Jupiter and Capricorn energy. It came in reverse. We read it upright. A feeling of, you may have been juggling a lot of different things. You may have been, whether it's career and love, whether it's many different problems, when it's many different responsibilities, for sure. But as you can see, the person that is juggling all these responsibilities, missing out on these boats that are in the background, the ships that come in. So it is a feeling of a sense of letting go of enough responsibility, right? To know that juggling may not be necessary. Maybe you're taking on a little bit too much. You do have the King of Cups coming in prominently. And, in many cases, this is Sun and Scorpio energy, right? Some people say Sun in Pisces, depends on the deck, but the bottom line is it's emotional, especially for a Scorpion reading. It's emotional growth, balance, devotion. This could be coming from somebody around you, or it could be you stepping into this energy. No matter what, this is a really good energy to be in August, and he comes in truly in the upright. Now here, what's interesting is you have all these cards that kind of came out together, and I'm taking it as two different people. So you put yourself where you belong in this situation. You have one person, here it is, someone who may be juggling too many things. Somebody who realizes at some point that there's too many things involved and that something has to give. And you or this other person steps into this Queen of Wands energy, right? This fire energy. Jupiter in Aries, drive, passion, optimism. The Queen of Wands is a witch, right? Is a manifester. So this is someone with very good attitude, someone who learns something this summer and says, okay, now I'm going to implement what I've learned. Now you have another person here and you have Strength here in reverse, and there's more Leo energy, more fire energy. Yeah, Strength in reverse, right? Someone who struggles with confidence. A weaker counterpart. Now, this weakness could be very temporary. Maybe it's somebody going through a bunch of crap, right? They need help from their counterpart. But the bottom line is someone is not as strong as either they used to be, they could be, or they're at least not as strong as the other person. You do have the Nine of Swords here in reverse. And, very, very Geminian energy as well here. And this person sees the other person as a source of stability, right? They look at the other person like they're an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety medication. And so their existence and their mood and their mental stability is based upon this other person and the way they act and the way they think. And it is a very dependent situation. It's not a bad situation. It's just a situation that probably has to change, and it could very well be temporary. But these are the two personalities involved in this. Now, you do have one who is avoiding talking about something. Listen, I've done it. We've all done it. We know something's going to cause a bunch of crap. So we just like, you know what? I don't have the head for that. I don't have the time for that. Maybe next week, maybe next month, but not now. And then you have another person who has isolating thoughts, thoughts that sort of put them in this energy sometimes. So those are the two people that are involved in this. It's very interesting energy. I can't wait to expand upon these readings to see exactly what all this boils down to. But very fascinating, as always here, Scorpio. When we add all the numbers up here and we break them down, we get the number 11, which is really nice energy because it's a bridging number. It's a cardinal number. It is two things coming together to form one for sure, but it's also a bridge from one place to another. That death and that rebirth energy being assisted across the bridge by our Santa Muerte archetype is a beautiful thing. That red robe, that passion, you could have passion for your work, passion for this goal starting to show itself, passion for another human being, maybe both. When we expand upon these readings, we'll definitely get a lot more information. But so far, so good. Very interesting, as always. And I'm going to say interesting a lot because, man, I just find the way these readings unfold, especially when I expand upon them, fascinating. All right, Scorpio, I wish you nothing but the best, and I will see you next time.